We're here in Chapter 5 of Black Myth Wukong. It is time to take on the final boss of the chapter, and you know what that means. We've only got one more chapter after this. We're almost done. Luckily, we here at Direct Gaming have the perfect guide for you on how to take down Red Boy and Yaksha King. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Technically, they are the same boss, but a bunch of different movesets here, so we're going to cover them both here as well. So make sure you check the timestamps down below to get to the section that you personally need. The video will be set up as the following. First, personal setup and skills that I had unlocked for the fight, tips on how to avoid the boss attacks and how to counter them for Red Boy, then a full unedited fight of the Red Boy boss fight to show you how to use everything you've learned in real time. Then we will actually do a breakdown of the Yaksha King boss fight and how to counter his moves. And then finally, a full run of that boss fight, sped up a tad to show you how to use everything that you learned in real time. All right, let's get started. Now, in terms of skills, armor, and other things to bring to the fight, you should have a good amount of the things unlocked, or potentially just everything unlocked, unless, of course, it's like endgame stuff. If you did any of the XP farming that we showed you in our early game farm, or anything that was during the Purple Cloud Mountain or the mid-game farm in Chapter 4, then you should be good to go. Just make sure if you can, though, to upgrade your spirits at the shrine, since that's the only place you can do that, and maybe even upgrade your transformations or two. Or even go back to other levels and defeat bosses you weren't able to defeat beforehand and grab their spirits if possible. Otherwise, go with what you personally find best with your personal playstyle. You can use whatever armor you want, but I went with the golden set armor here that you see on screen, which should easily be available to you because it was already available in Chapter 4. With 2 pieces, you can get increased attack when you're using spirit skills or a vessel, and if you have all 4 pieces, then you get a small amount of chi upon critical hits and defeats. The defeats, obviously, you're not really dealing with, but the critical hits you can definitely get a lot of, depending if you use your medicine. Transformation I went with is the new Lightning Long that I went back and beat in Chapter 3, and the vessel I used was the Weaver Needle that we got over in Chapter 4. Oh, and finally, I actually used the Golden Long Staff for my main weapon, since I actually have his transformation now, which means I was able to craft it. So, with all that being said, let's dive into the first boss fight. But before that, really quickly, I need to pay some bills, and that is possible with the help of today's sponsor, Factor. Are you someone who loves to game but just can't find the time? Want to finally jump into the brand new game Black Myth Wukong, or maybe just a quick online match with the boys, but that crazy schedule of yours just won't allow it? Whether it be school, full-time job, family, or anything else you can think of, throw on top of that having to make dinner and clean up after, which, let's be honest, nobody likes to do. Well, today is your lucky day. Factor is the best place to get chef-prepared meals on the table in 2 minutes that are not only ready to go, but extremely healthy and tasty. I mean, just look at all these options right here. My personal top 3 picks would have to be the roasted garlic chicken, honey mustard pork chops, and that creamy Parmesan chicken. Yeah, I'm definitely eyeing that one right there. Or maybe you just need something for breakfast. The smoky bacon and cheddar egg bites definitely make my mouth water a little bit. It gives you the protein you need for the day and can also get in some much needed gaming sessions. All you have to do in order to get all of this is just click the link in the pinned comment to get 50%. Yes, you heard me, 50%. That is half off the normal price of your first Factor box. And you will also get 20% off your next month's order. Also, to top it all off, you don't need to order something for every day. Only need meals for 2 days out of the week? No problem. One thing I especially love about Factor is that you can actually skip weeks, which means that you are not charged and you can start back up whenever you want. That saves you money when you need it, and you can still get in those sweet gaming sessions. So, what the heck are you waiting for? Hit the link, sign up, and use the code that you see on screen to get 50% off now. All right, we're back. Now, the final boss of Chapter 5 is technically the same boss like we stated beforehand, but there are 2 forms we have to deal with. First is going to be Red Boy, and then second is going to be the Yaksha King. Again, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name. Let's go and start off with Red Boy here. When it comes to fighting Red Boy, you will want to have pills to help deal with burn, since Mr. Red here uses a lot of fire attacks. He will usually try to mix this up with quick movements as well, that can luckily be stopped with things like immobilization. Oh, before we move on to the rest of the moves, make sure if you've gotten accustomed to using things with ice, don't have any transformations or spirits that use ice if you are trying to freeze the boss. You will notice here that I use my Ice Tornado, which I absolutely love using at this section in the game, but it doesn't actually freeze the boss. It will continue to do damage, but it won't actually freeze them. So if you rely on that freeze a lot, change up your spirits and your transformation. If you're okay with not being able to freeze the boss, then that's totally fine. Use what you need to, and you should be good to go. I personally didn't think about this when I was fighting the boss myself, so I wanted to warn you before you jump into the battle yourself. One move the boy loves to use is his flamethrower style attack, where he will be swinging his staff / sword around, or even just simply walking around with it on his shoulders, and fire will constantly be spraying out of it, so you need to be careful here. Remember, if the bar on the right side of the screen fills up completely, you will become burned. Also, if you notice that your clothes are on fire, you can actually roll around to get that fire off and help reduce the burn, so make sure you use that. And of course, if you need to, bring some armor that helps reduce burn, or bring some pills to just simply take care of it. That's what I personally did. Now, for this particular move that you're seeing on screen, I only experienced this attack once, but if he throws his weapon at you, he will actually disappear and you can't go up and attack the boss while this is happening. His weapon will get thrown at you to try and hit you and then kind of fly up into the air, and it will slowly come back towards you, actually destroying some of the terrain around the area, so be careful here. And then finally, the boss will kind of do a dive attack at you, so make sure you dodge it as well before you can continue the fight. One attack the boss loves to use is when he throws fire at you, like you're seeing right here, as these kind of straight horizontal attacks. If you get hit with these, this will automatically set you on fire, not be burning you though. As always, make sure you check that little symbol in the bottom left corner below your health bar. As the continued battles on and the boss gets down to around 50% health, he will float up into the air and summon a ton of clones of himself that will basically dive bomb you, usually 2 to 3 per, give or take. He'll start off with 1, but mostly it's gonna be 2 or 3. This is where I just happen to have my transformation already activated, so I recommend saving yours for this particular moment. This attack can last quite a while, so that's why I recommend it. However, if you return back to normal, just get ready with that dodge button, and then finally, don't get caught when he returns back to the battlefield, as he will do a huge ground pound attack that can definitely hurt you a lot. The rest of his moves though for this particular fight are not too different from the first half of the fight though. If you see him doing this particular spin motion on screen, then simply back up and get ready to dodge to the left or the right, as he's going to shoot a giant blaze attack at you, leaving fire on the ground. That's why I recommend going to the left or the right, because it will catch you if you try to dodge backwards. Final attack to look out for is when he fires little sparks into the air that will cover literally the entire arena. So just make sure to wait and dodge, so that way they don't hit you, and don't be mashing the dodge button or anything. Other than that though, there's not much else really to this boss fight. I would usually say it's a warm-up to the second fight, but the second fight is actually very different. So just make sure you can deal with the fire, which can be a little bit annoying, and have those pills ready. Now, we're going to do something a little different like we mentioned beforehand and show the full unedited version of the fight right here, sped up a tab before going on to the second boss. So if you need that particular section, go ahead and skip this and check out the timestamps down below.
Yourself quite something, huh? Have fun with this! Yeah. You don't know when to quit, do you? Let us ignite! That was fun! Really Spin! Spin a blade!
Okay, now that Red Boy is defeated, time to take on Stage 2. Side note, if you can't beat the boss the first time around, you will simply respawn at the shrine right next to the arena, so make sure you don't forget to craft any more medicine for things like burn pills. Also, if you beat Red Boy and you lose in the second battle, however, though, you're not going to start over at Red Boy, you will simply continue on at stage number 2. Now, Yaksha is very different from the normal Red Boy here. He loves using these blades that you're going to see. I mean, the design is pretty cool, I can't lie. But all of his attacks will result with these blades, so you better get ready with your dodging skills. If you need to, change up your armor as well if you absolutely have to help you out with your perfect dodges. One thing he absolutely loves using, besides the obvious blades on him now, is actually summoning small blades that you'll see on the ground that will then strike straight up. So whatever you do, don't try overcommitting to any long combos. Get a few hits in and back up, especially if you see anything on the ground. You have limited time to get away from these attacks, otherwise they will hurt you. Of course, when it comes to a boss like this though, do be on the lookout for your typical sword combo attacks, which are decently easy to avoid, but they can be a little fast, especially with the way this guy jumps, so just be prepared for that. He also likes to close the distance a lot when he does that said jumping though, but it can sometimes turn it into a jump spin attack that you need to avoid to the sides and not backwards, otherwise it will still hit you. Also, I definitely found that using pillar stance can help a lot, hence why I'm using the golden long staff. Using pillar stance will not only help you dodge some of these moves, but especially if you have 3 focus points, you'll get above everything, and if you're using the same staff I am, you'll automatically shock the boss, meaning he'll take more damage because he's in that state. During this particular time during my run through, the Weaver Needle was still my go-to vessel, which can be very helpful here as it continues to attack the boss over and over again. However, if you need to, don't be afraid to switch back over to the Wind Tamer, as that can help a lot with defense. One big move to watch out for is this one right here. It's when his elbows basically turn into dual blades that basically look like they're copying Sephiroth's katana. I mean, that thing is literally a 10-foot weapon right there. You need to dodge in the following order. First one will be horizontal, so make sure you're dodging backwards. Next will be vertical, so dodge either the left or the right. For this particular one, watch out for the sword spikes that will stick in the ground when this slash attack happens. You don't want to run back into it and get hit by it. Third will be horizontal again. Next after that will be vertical again, and finally a last horizontal attack that appears right after the second vertical attack, which is faster than the moves beforehand. The timing can be a little tough here, so don't be afraid to use your transformation if you absolutely have to. Continuing on with the rest of the attacks, so the boss will also like to throw his blades at you, which are pretty much easy to avoid. They're really not that hard, and they don't really hone in on you, and they're kind of slow. So this actually should be probably one of the easiest moves you can avoid. As his health continues to go down more and more, he'll continue to attack you from below, just like before in the beginning of the battle, but this time it will actually increase with the amount of sections that will try to attack you. So like you see on screen here, it'll be one giant area, and then next thing you know, at your feet, there's gonna be another area, so you need to keep running backwards to avoid these. Luckily though, it's only 2 times. It could be 3 though. Let me know in the comments below if that does happen to you. As with any typical boss, when you get into the low ends of the health bar, you also try to combine all of his previous attacks. You'll start with a very basic swipe attack, followed by an area effect move with the blade grass, and then use the giant katana strikes twice, maybe 3 times, depending on what happens. And sometimes he might even finish it up with a jump slash attack. The timing on these though can be a little weird, so you've got to be ready with this one. Again, if you haven't used your transformation at this particular point, or maybe you use Cloud Step, this is a perfect chance for you to do that. The final move to watch out for is when one of his elbows becomes a Sephiroth katana, and he will do the following moves. He will start off with 2 quick attacks, then that will quickly be followed by a third move, but it does have a 2-second window give or take, so you will be able to dodge it if you notice the pattern. Then there will be a 5-second delay into another slash attack that is pretty big, finally followed by a dash move that, if it does hit you, will result in this scene happening to you right here. I'm not 100% sure if this is avoidable. I'm assuming it possibly can be, but regardless, keep an eye out for it, otherwise you're going to get your face pounded into those rocks right there. Otherwise, in terms of all the moves for this particular boss, that is everything that I personally witnessed when fighting this boss twice. This is a straight up sword versus staff battle, so get your reflexes ready and good luck. If you're finding that his attacks are too strong though, however, don't forget to use your pills to increase your defense and switch over from the Weaver's Needle or whatever vessel you're using and go to the Wind Tamer. Even though he's not a wind-based enemy, you still get defense just by having the Wind Tamer, and when you activate it, you get another defensive boost. So this can really help in some tight spots. Now, here's a full run of the second boss fight, sped up a tad to show you how to take Red Boy's second form down. As always, learn the attacks and patterns of the boss to make it easier. It's okay if it takes a couple of tries. If you enjoy the guides, then a like on the video shows us that you enjoy this type of content, and don't forget to check out our other Black Myth Wukong guides and content along with our other videos in the top right corner and pinned comments. Also, let us know if you want to see the unedited versions of the fight all at the end, or splitting them up like this particular video is what you prefer. We want to get your feedback and change our videos if we need to. Thanks again for watching the video though. I've been Talon with Direct Gaming. I hope you have a great day and week, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Johnny.
Blood and flesh don't compose my pathetic you are. I never sought to fight you. Yet you are ignorant of their manipulation. Beyond flaming mountains lies Mount Yaksha.